keep the channels open so that we can bring in the containers and all the products that we use on a day-to-day basis. And so not only on the dredging mission and keeping the harbors open, one of the things that I actually took on when I started at the Corps about 1.5 years ago, one of the big issues is what to do with the dredge material that we dredge. And so we use it as a beneficial resource. We use it to cap landfills, stop bleaching landfills that are out there. We've put dredge material on New Jersey Gardens Mall, underneath the parking lot, Bayonne Golf Club. We use the dredge material for creating wetlands and habitat, and also the rock we blast, we use it for reefs off the coast, and then also further decontamination technologies as we hope to remediate the harbor. So not only with those missions in dredging and keeping the harbor open and active, we also have a restoration mission. And as you look at this map, this is more than just our programs, but they highlight the Corps of Engineers restoration projects. And we're not only creating and constructing restoration projects, but also investigating. And my major role is the project manager for the Hudson-Raritan Estuary Restoration Program, which is a culmination and study of looking at the harbor as a whole, bringing all of these individual projects that have been ongoing, bringing them together to coordinate better. And there's also some spin-off projects. I'm also the project manager for the Lower Passaic River Restoration Project. That is very important, I would think, for this particular region, especially in Elizabeth and the Newark area, with respect to looking at the remediation and restoration of that river. And then the Hackensack is a spin-off of the Hudson-Raritan Estuary. And the first project that will actually hopefully be constructed under the HRE is the Liberty State Park Restoration Program. So actually, actual construction. And hopefully that'll move forward this year.
Now, Lisa, this map, an estuary, is where salt water mixes with fresh water, correct? I mean,
correct.
Everybody doesn't quite.
Right. As the water comes in from the Atlantic Ocean, what makes it an estuary is that commingling and mixing of freshwater and saltwater interchange, and it makes it one of the most productive environments in the world. And as a nursery ground for fisheries and birds and wetland habitat, and so it makes it. It's a very interesting and dynamic habitat with respect to tidal exchange and that mixing of freshwater and saltwater. Definitely is not only challenging from a restoration perspective, depending on where you're at with that salinity change.
Now, Lisa, tell us what you have planned for Friday, April 24th here in our city.
Well, we're going to have our core vessel, the Hawking, out there, and we're going to take the kids out on tours through the Arthur Kill, and they're going to get to see dredging activities going on, as it's happening. Go and check out what kind of habitat that's out there from a restoration perspective, and what there is to restore. And also, not only the other activities that John's going to talk about, as he mentioned the Coast Guard and the other programs with respect to booths set up, but we're also going to have a tank, a touch tank, that we collected organisms right from the estuary, and the kids will be able to look at the organisms, the fish, the invertebrates, and learn about the marine life that's right there outside the back door. Yeah, crabs, fish, blue crabs, rays, skates. Hopefully, when we go out there to trawl that morning, that we'll be able to collect a lot of exciting organisms so that the kids can really learn a lot and appreciate. I don't think they realize a lot of times that these organisms are out there thriving in this estuary, and that it's right outside their back door.
And John, the Future City and the Elizabeth River Arthur Kill Watershed Association, tell us about their role as well.
Well, I'd like to take a lot of the credit for that, but
you can.
More of the credit goes to the CEO of Future City and the staff. They work diligently to make sure that the lines of communication between the partners, like the Army Corps of Engineers, the Coast Guard, and the university, keep moving. Because if it's left up to individuals, probably wouldn't get done as effectively. And so our main role is to connect to the schools. They go through all of the necessary legwork to make sure that the permissions are granted, that we're tying these activities into the learning objectives of the Elizabeth Public Schools. So it's not just a fun day out in the field, but that it's a productive part of their learning curriculum.
Any day away from school is always a fun day out in the field, John. Do you remember that?
But we know that,
right?
And we also know that they can take those same learning experiences back to their classroom every day.
John,
when we get there, then we.
exactly. The
really-
Elizabeth River Arthur Kill Watershed Association, what is their role in this event?
The Watershed Association is the formal entity of Future City responsible for any initiatives related to the estuary and the watershed. I mentioned before that Future City broadly tackles many environmental issues from air quality to lead in the home. And this association allows us to have a more focused way to look at the watershed, where we might be diverting our energies into other projects. There's, for example, a park was saved under open space regulation through Future City on Catherine Street. So many activities, a variety of environmental activities, the Watershed Association allows us to focus in on specific things related to the estuary, gives us the leverage we need when we talk to the various federal agencies like the EPA or the DEP. When we say we're a watershed association, they tend to listen. If we just say we're a nonprofit organization or community members, sometimes it's a little more difficult to get things moving.
That's good to know. You talked about the students, by the way, and the experience that they get out of it. Many of them participate in the event on Friday. Do you get anybody coming? We've done this a couple of years now. Have you ever heard of people who really take this to heart and come back, or maybe, you know, because I know a student is probably all hopped up the day they're there. How long do you think it carries through? What's the educational benefit here?
Well, I'd like to say we track them all the way through their graduation in college and where they go. We do have a number of success stories, students who've received scholarships to NJIT, for example, engineering programs, various scholarship types of activities with some other partnering universities. We continue to work with the teachers and the students, so we do hope that it's a lifelong lesson for not just the students, but we also feel like we're educating the community through the students. Many students are first generation attendees of school in this country, so we're kind of building that message very slowly and gradually. We know that education takes generations to turn things around, so I think we're in a good position.
I think that's a key statement. It takes a few generations, and the work you're doing now is clearly leaving a mark on some of these young people, which is absolutely fantastic.
And I think the important aspect is prior to organizing an event like this, agencies like the Corps of Engineers wouldn't be viewed as an integral part of the community. So now we have a very real place for them to come and show why this kind of work really matters to their day-to-day lives.
Lisa, does the Army Corps get involved with other organizations on Earth Day?
Yeah, I think, and beyond Earth Day, throughout the year, we've done this for the last 6 years, and Estuary Day that you put on, the Future City puts on. But also through the course of the year, we try to take advantage of every opportunity to go and reach those students. I mean, I've gone into a couple of schools, and my fellow colleagues go in and try to get the kids excited so that they can, not only get excited about marine biology and a future potentially at the Corps of Engineers, but just in the environmental field, and then help to try to take it home and educate the parents, and so that they're more aware. And so we, throughout the year, end up going out and trying to educate the students, and then also participating in cleanup events that take place on various rivers. I know there's an event at Bollwage, we've cleaned up the Bollwage, so just trying to reach out and participate in those types of events.
And the Army Corps of Engineers, so it's not just about brick and mortar, it's about education as well.
Yeah, totally. And our mantra is building strong, Army strong. It's the Army Corps of Engineers. But not only construction and being the agency that can look at a really large scale program and problems and going to construct, but also, yes, educating and doing as much as we can, to educate and go into schools.
How many years has Future City coordinated this event, and it's changed? Maybe you can tell us how it's changed and why.
We're running 6 years strong on the event, and the Army Corps of Engineers has always been a partner from the onset. So that was our initial impetus, the boat ride being the highlight event, and nothing probably compares to the Army Corps of Engineers touch tank on land, where all...
That's my favorite, by the way.
It has to be. It's the one that
Yeah.